Hello.
Hi Jaydev. Just give me
Yeah, hi
2-3.
Ranjan. Good afternoon. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And with me, Rohan is there, so he will share his screen. Okay.
Sure, sure. That works.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, Rohan.
Yeah. Just put it in a slide so.
Sure.
We would be streaming the session on our official IMC handle as well. So I hope that's fine.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
That's fine.
Also recording this meeting or not? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we will be recording. Yeah, I'll also start the recording.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We can begin whenever you say. So I'll just start the brief introduction.
Okay. So maybe another 2 minutes just to settle down because
Right.
Zoom is new.
Sure.
Ranjan, is the screen visible to you?
Yeah, I can see. I can see that. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. So shall we begin?
Yeah, please.
Right. So should we also wait for a few more participants? I believe that Rohan would have shared the email, right? The registration that we have collected.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I have shared it.
So should we wait or because anyway the session is recorded and it's live on YouTube, so
Yeah.
they can join in, right?
So how many participants we have actually? No, no.
Right. Right now we only have 5 participants, and right, and there will be few more joining in.
Okay.
Yeah. So people from IM Calcutta and all will be joining in. Jaydeep?
Right. Yes. We have shared it on our groups. Right.
So I
And
think
since
Rohan,
we've
mentee will not work here. No, if you have very less participant.
Yeah, Ranjan. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. Let's see if we have some good participants and we can start.
Sure.
I think we can start now.
Sure, sure. Uh, just a second and we can start.
Okay.
We can start now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a second. So a very pleasant evening to one and all present here, and welcome to Genesis, presented by Hirect in association with D2C. It's my great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Mr. Ranjan Pradhan. Ranjan is spearheading the innovation program from Capgemini India, and he is responsible for constantly driving innovation agenda for clients through Capgemini's innovation exchange and co-creating solutions that scales for enterprise needs and developing new value propositions for clients and end customers. Applying cross-industry innovation, Ranjan's diverse experience in banking and financial services domain, plus a deep domain expertise in areas such as digital strategy, core transformation, payment centralization, product management, and cloud strategy, and emerging technology-based tools to solve business problems. He has played multidimensional roles across the entire value chain of IT services, including business and strategy consulting and chain management. Thank you, Ranjit, for agreeing to come here today, and I'm sure everyone will be benefiting from your session. And the stage is all yours.
Thanks, Jaideep. Thanks for inviting me. So first of all, hello everyone. A very good afternoon to you all, my viewers, and especially jokers. And hope you are all doing fine and staying safe. And today we are going to cover a very interesting topic, which is called embedded innovation. So moving to the next slide, if you see, this is our overall agenda. Uh, can you move to the next slide, please, Rohan? So now you must be hearing a lot on innovation, topics around innovation. And sometimes, I also question myself, it's a new thing that we see in the industry, or it is something which is there a long time. It is just like we are realizing it today. Okay. And I will talk about more on embedded innovation, the trends on innovation, sustainability, tech trends, which is influencing these innovations. And then we'll talk about, a little bit on what is Capgemini view on innovation, and how the Center of Excellence Innovation Exchange program is helping our customers and clients in our growth as well as client growth. So moving to the next slide, if you see, uh, this is a very interesting slide in terms of before COVID or 2019, I met one of my customer, and he showed this the presentation that you see, the innovation of 300 years, 330 years precisely. And if you see, the innovation is not a new thing, it is always there. And bottommost section, if you see, uh, this is a journey, especially, I just put a small example on ice. And if you see ice 1.1, 1.0, what we are doing is, in order to have ice, big powerful horse, sharp instrument to cut the ice blocks, and the ecosystem we are relying on that time was cold city, wait for cold winter. And the innovation was, sharp instrument and the horse. Okay. Then we move to ice 2.1, is about creating large factory. We don't have to rely neither cold city or not winter. Ice can be made in a central area. Now we move to ice 3.0, smarter way to make ice. Everyone has literally, ice in their ice factory in their own house, and it's nothing, not only the ice, it is more on smarter way to get your needs. In fact, fridge can be used for hot water as well. And this is the story of every organization. They're jumping from one innovation curve to another innovation curve. And the important factor, on the innovation I'm saying is, it is embedded in every nook and corner. Everyone can embrace it. It is not something which is poor cannot use it, or rich cannot, rich only can use it. It is being used by everyone. It is being embraced by everyone, and that is the intent here to talk about, on focusing on embedded innovation. Moving to the next slide, if you see the moving to the next slide, if you see, we are talking about the overall chain of innovation that has been done. It is nothing new. And the point I'm making here is, innovation was there in every age. It's an embracement of innovation that you see is high today. And there is a need for embedded innovation in every organization. And I'm taking one of the base area. If you see, the first one is the mechanical age. And during this time, humans started making, considerable advances in technology. And the first section, if you see bottommost, fields like innovation in the car, the typewriter, the spectroscope. And this is the period where Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity, a magnificent innovation. And the second one is the electromechanical age, where we are talking about in terms of, beginning era of telecommunication. During this, if you see, telegraph was created by Samuel. Then Graham Bell, during this time, they created, voltaic battery was created. And similarly, the vacuum tube was developed by Lee De Forest. And there are many innovations are happening. It is the embedment, or I'll say embracement of innovation was low. And if you see, our telephone is being used by, limited sectors, right? Then we came into the electronic age, where we are talking about the current age. And there are many technology that are driving the industry. And if you see, most of the area, if you notable innovation is mobile phone, digital camera, electrical car, space rockets, television, and most importantly, adoption rate is very, very, very high. So I'll take a pause here in terms of innovation. If you can see the over the time, digital technology are rapidly, transforming the society. As I mentioned, everyone, rich, poor, is having everything in their hand. Actually, that is called mobile phone, as you can see. Just press of a button, you can do many things. The innovation is now, if you see, the embedded in all the value chain of industry. And moving to the next slide, before getting into the industry view, what I will talk about is why and what is embedded innovation. So if you see, in a regular basis, the customer behavior is changing, the experience that end customer or end consumer is enjoying in one sector, the expectation is similar experience, similar I'll say journey that they want to see in the other sectors. Okay, so if I'm driving or if I'm taking a taxi in Uber, I'm looking at similar experience in my banking side as well, right? If I'm purchasing in Amazon something, then I want to have a similar experience or better experience in other sector. So that is how it is about Uber like experience, Amazon like experience. And so various small and big organization, especially those operating in an increasing dynamic and digitalized environment, needs to establish a trusted relationship and alignment with communities, networks, stakeholders in order to survive. Not only survival, it's also increase the revenue, market share. And we call it as, if you are not moving, if you stand still, you are behind, in this competitive environment. So it needs more in innovation culture building, innovation ecosystem building. We cannot do everything. There is a buy process, there is a build process as well. So there are many, if you see in Capgemini, in our organization, we are largely acquiring many more organization, and we are embedding them in our business as well. So this is more on formulation of right and sophisticated approach to embed innovation in the DNA itself. Okay, so otherwise, it's a matter of time that we will, anybody who is not embedding the innovation will be obsolete in this industry. So that is on embedded innovation, and the need for embedded innovation. The innovation was there, quite long time, and it is evolving, but the embarrassment of innovation is very high, in this era. Now, moving to the next slide, I will talk about industry view. What are the key trends that you see on the industry side? So that is what I'm just focusing. There are three layers, if you see here. One is the trends, very simplified. There are many trends, but I'm just pulling in some of the key trends that industry is looking at, and trends driving the business as well, because when we are talking about the trends, it has to be driven by many organizations as well. And the new emerging change, I'm talking about next 5 to 6 years. Quickly, what are the key areas that you need to focus to move further? Okay, so if I talk about industry trends, the first one is about everything as a service. So anything is about service. If you take it, infra as a service, software as a service, code as a service. So in a day-to-day life also, you are renting many things. There are many organizations or startups that are coming up and providing the service in many aspects. So it is basically moving from capex model to opex model. If you don't know about capex model and opex model, very simple. When I passed out my college, I was renting everything, house, fridge, television, whatever it is, whatever possible. And when I get married, I have to buy a house. So I get into OPEX model, a lot of money I'm spending in EMI and all the stuff. So, welcome to my life. But essentially, we are moving further for, everything and anything as a service. And if you see bottommost, the cloud is providing plethora of services. And next 2 years is going to be distributed model, where the innovation is going to be embedded in the cloud. And then, it is moving further for a complex system to calculate and compute. So before getting into, if you see, edge computing is something which we are relying on. federated learning, you can Google it. Google is one of the example, I will say. They're focusing on edge computing aspect, and next year when you see mobile, most of the computation is happening at the edge itself. So that is most on services and how the quantum computing is coming into a picture, because essentially this is a rule of life, I will say, that whatever success in a distributed manner, it comes to the centralization. Or centralization, if there is some success, it goes again distributed way. So that is how we are looking at, the cloud will be a central pool for doing many more computation, and quantum is one of the key area. The next trend is about cross sector, which is the middlemost. If you see, the cross sector industry is basically many more on connecting experience. Okay, focusing on connecting experience. I will talk about more on the connected aspects, but it is based of the technology which is proven in one industry, it's going to the next industry, and each industry they are talking to each other. There are many examples. Just to start, if you buy a car, the insurance comes along with the car. The OEM which is at the edge area, they are providing you the insurance options as well. Okay, this is one aspect. And from the business trend perspective, if you see, data is essential, and there is no business like data powered business. So AI algorithms are instrumental on shaping the enterprises also, and the push of AI towards adopting IoT, AR, VR, and other emerging technologies, harnessing the various data and transform each industry, if you see, and eventually moving from computational and statistical model to exponential intelligence actually. So that is what I am talking about in the experience layer. But before getting into the third most on the experience side, but I will say that one of the key area what we see is sustainability. It is across all the sectors. There are 17 orders, sustainability goals are there. And if you see, I will talk about more on sustainability. I will take a example which I was working with one client, and essentially everyone is looking for zero carbon footprint by 2030, 2050, 2070. Everyone is focusing on that. The second part, what I see is electrical vehicle is coming. Tesla is one of the, you must be listening to Tesla adventure in terms of bringing electrical cars and many more. And in Capgemini also, we are looking at 12,000 vehicles shift towards electrical vehicle by 2030, and that's how every organization is looking at. And now, if you see, the third is, when you see, it is more on experience perspective. We are talking about experience across all the sectors. Okay, and digital experience, or I'll say digital reality, is one of the key aspects that we are looking. And we are not looking for experience in specific journey. It has to be ambient experience from one area to when you buy something, from buying experience to taking it to the further experience. So it has to be ambient experience across the journey actually. So that is what we are talking about in terms of key trends that we are seeing in the market. Now moving to the next slide. Rohan, can you move to the next slide?
Yes, done.
Rohan?
It's on.
Okay. So, so what I did is I took a specific example on one sector. And what I am saying here is basically how each sectors are influenced, but FS sector is one of the key sector, what I see. And then this is one of my favorite sector actually. And the role of embedded innovation especially in financial services, which is also called as embedded finance. Okay. And the first financial service to be integrated into non-financial sector is payments. And you can't imagine a day without any payments, right? The payment system has evolved a lot and it's still moving. And your payment happens within a millisecond. Just imagine it touches all the 10 different vendors, verification. There are many aspects if you see, and the embracement of innovation, especially in payment sector, is really adorable. I will say this is the first thing. And the second one is the embedded credit. It refers to the credit products that is available for non-financial sector. This allows consumer to apply, acquire, and repay loans within the same platform. For example, if you say when you are purchasing something in Amazon, you can convert this purchase to EMI checkout without leaving the platform, and it's a great adoption that you see in the credit side as well. The third one is embedded insurance. It refers to the bundling of insurance within the purchase of product or services. When you buy a new phone, during purchase you offer the include theft, accidental damage insurance, and for the new phone. And when your favorite travel app includes per day travel insurance when you are traveling, and that's how it is embedded insurance is about. And there are many more that I can take example, but in short, product you buy or service you take, if there is any insurance offer, it is embedded. And I'll say that any offer that is applicable for insurance, it is already being embedded, and that's how the insurance sector is moving. And the last topic is about sustainability. On your right hand side, if you see sustainability, we are talking about 17 SDG goals, but I will take one example. Moving to the next slide, if you see, this is what I discussed with one of my client. And when you talk about sustainability, it is not all the 17 SDG goals that you need to fulfill, but essentially it is more on climate stability, ecosystem resilience, watershed protection. I'll talk about more on that. And then people empowerment. And the third was community perspective. That the last one I'll say community perspective, but essentially it is about monitoring of property and land, and the second is carbon impact and energy efficiency. And that is what in India also we are looking about 2070 zero carbon print. That is, and every organization is supporting this activity as well. And if you move to the next slide, Rohan, there are key examples I took. First one is deforestation is one of the top contributors to climate change. Forest fire is one of the example, the reason of deforestation. There are many examples, but this is a natural, way, we can avoid. And last time when I was in Australia 2 years back, before COVID, I can see there are many, I can see there are many more, I'll say climate issues because of fire, and it can reduce in terms of right set of monitoring or a perspective model and actionable insight with help to avoid such incidents. Now, if I take example drone, you can fly. The drone can see. I'll say you can fly a drone. You can cover a lot more forest area, and you can see the particular region actually to avoid such a forest fire. Okay, this is just an example in terms of avoiding for forest fire with key technology that you can use. Similarly, if you see improving soil health is one of the example. Many of our farm are use regenerative agriculture practices such as cover cropping, no-till, low-till farming, in order to maintain the health of soil health. But this technology can be used in terms of preserve and increase soil organic matter. So smart farm is one of our key initiative now we have taken, especially 2 areas in West Bengal, covering hundreds I'll say hundreds of farmer in terms of giving I'll say finance independence, as well as increasing the crop yield as well. So this is something which you are looking with the technology that you can see in West Bengal area. Now, the riparian zones, if you see, the interface is between the land and the river or streams, and it's very important in terms of ecological and community health perspective. And I strongly believe that with drone, IoT, AI technology, the physical land can be tracked, analyzed. Essentially, it will help you to protect sensitive land, deploying precision irrigation, etc. And there's a huge investment, and the client which I'm mentioning, it's in insurance business. but they're investing all these aspects that you see on the left side. You can get a lot more revenue. I'll just give you an example in my next slide. So moving to the next slide, if you see, we can measure the carbon footprint by AI technology. And if you see carbon meters that are being used by forestation, and this carbon meter helps you to I'll say take all the credits, and you can sell this carbon credits to the Gulf countries also, especially the oil countries. And it is a very good business in terms of investment perspective in many more aspects, I will say. So this is on carbon impact, energy efficiency. And I was thinking, we can create a quick mentee. I'm talking quite a long time. Maybe we can involve our teams who are in there. Maybe I can copy one of the quiz. And what you need to do is, I just put it in the chat window.
Sure. Also, Ranjan, we have a few questions coming in. So should we take the Q&A at the end?
Yeah, we will take it at the end. And I just put it mentee.com. Just click it. If you are joining in mobile, you can click there. And if you are joining in desktop, that you can use it. And probably now Rohan will share his screen. It's just a quiz, and I spoke about it, most of the things. It's about the innovation that we, various I'll say people took during the duration. Rohan, you may share your screen. So that's all about this mentee. And if you have any issues, maybe let me know. So this is the mentee quiz that Rohan is sharing. So you can log in. So I'm also trying to log in. I want to play this. Can you access the mentee?
Just a small request. The link actually takes you to the home page. If you can also share the code, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the code is 3067023. I will just put it in the mentee.com. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also put it on the chat. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Participants do try to copy the link and then enter this.
Ron, we can start it. Come on. This is the easiest one. I talked about it. Okay, next. I think this is what also I mentioned. Okay, let's move to the next question. So Jayadeep, you are doing good. We have not given you a question.
No, they won't share.
Wow. This is nice. Let's move to the next one. Hmm.
We have got a winner, Ranjan. Nancy.
Nancy is the winner. Okay, that's great thing. Something we need to know what are the innovation that we have done. Okay, now moving to the topic. So far we heard, in terms of I will say the innovation, the sectors, industry trends that we see, and then we talked about sustainability. We took one of the industry as example in terms of what is happening in that particular industry, and financial sector is always my favorite sector, and I have been associated with financial sector quite a long time. What you see here is about, broadly, we say that technology is the business today, and if you are not aware of key technology and its essence around horizons, then you are not serious about your business. Okay, so when I talked about horizon, is basically in the industry you will see that there are three horizons we are talking: horizon 1, horizon 2, and horizon 3. Horizon 1 is basically the adopt phase that you see. You are in a current business model, you are in a current tech, and your knowledge is based on in reality, and you are in a low risk area. Okay, automation, low code, no code, and there are many examples. Horizon 2 is about you are outside the business and tech, especially in the current tech, and probably appetite for risk is medium. Okay, the third one is horizon 3. You are embracing the greatest amount of uncertainty, and you are looking for long term experimenting research aspect, and much more, which is much more fragile in nature. Okay, so if you see the adaptive and each technology, some of the technology which is in horizon 3, which is in assess and hold, maybe after 10 years it will be in adopt phase. Okay, so couple of example, when I say if you're using the internet, you are not really bothered about the TCP IP protocol of the internet. It is already being embedded, and there are many technology. I always say that blockchain, AI, IoT, it is going to be blend with your day-to-day life, and probably you are using on a regular basis. If you do a scan QR code, you are doing any payments. There are many aspects. These technology are already being embedded in your day-to-day life. Okay, and I will take one or two examples how we look at a particular technology. Moving to the next slide. So I will take one exact example: self-driving vehicle, and there are many others are there, but I'm just particularly focusing on self-driving vehicles. And if you see any technology, there is a definition. Any technology, move to the next slide. So any technology, if you see there is a benefit for that technology, there is a business case benefit for that technology, and then there are many challenges also, right? And then when there is a technology which is in hold or assess phase, the benefit could be very minimal, but in a long run the benefit could have been very high. There could be many challenges, and during the course of time these challenges gets reduced. And if the particular technology or innovation is I'll say embraced by the industry, there are many use cases, there are many players, and then there is a readiness in the market as well. So electrical vehicle is one of the example, I'll say. And this is a perspective that we see and find out more way to engage. And from an industry perspective, or from a Capgemini perspective, we look at in each technology and focus on how we can enable our consumer or our customers around this particular technology. So I'll take one example: telematics, which is very known in the industry now. So telematics, if you see, it sits intersection of IoT, 5G, advanced analytics. And I'm using this technology name because you will see, you must be hearing a lot actually on this technology and how they're combining and helping the our customer as well as in consumer as well. So once used primarily as a diagnostic tool in automotive sector, telemetry, it is now used as a new method of engaging with the customer and generating revenue streams across various touch points. Okay, so particularly in this area, if you see, the solution will be helping our insurers or carriers, especially on the behavioral based, both auto, property, health, and many areas. And what we are doing is the data can be collected from various sources. If you go to the left side and you see there is a Cambridge, we have Cambridge mobile telematics, and then what they are doing is they are sharing the data, okay, and data can be consumed in a different way. Then the analysis being done by Google as a platform, and because of Android and the application car, application in car, Fitbit for health, GCP, Google Cloud to scale further. And that's why we are choosing the Google platform as a platform to scale this data or to analyze the data. And then we are bringing up inside view 890 Capgemini, one of the COE, and then there are startup Gelrose as an example. They're combining, and the point here I'm making is it's a true collaboration of all partner ecosystem where we are creating a marketplace for our customer and consume this analytical data. And that's how the technology, each platform, each partners, hyperscalers, they're combined together and creating something that you can see here. And you'll see more news, or there are many more news coming in telematics side from Capgemini side in future as well. Okay, so if you are looking for any internship program also, you may share your details. Maybe you can involve in such engagements as well. Okay, now moving to the next slide. So we have a specific center of excellence which is called Applied Innovation Exchange, and just forget about it's a quite heavy slide, but in general the intent here is that Applied Innovation Exchange is a global platform to foster open innovation. And when I talk about open innovation, it is a mechanism by which the ideas can be co-created outside and as well as inside, and together with a strong collaboration, we are moving or co-creating innovations, and can be applied are amplified, in the customer space as well, or in consumer space. But essentially, I talked about Horizon 1, Horizon 2, then discover, device, sustain, and deploy is nothing but to generate idea. That is what discover is about. Device is to give a tangible outcome to those idea. Then deploy is to take this MVP to a particular, I'll say, customer area, and then sustain to move this engine further. So look at, two circles: ideation engine and scaling engine. Ideation is to create idea, and there is a scaling engine to scale those idea on a continuous basis. So we have a small video in our next section. Have a look what is this applied innovation exchange is about.
In a VUCA world, how do you disrupt the marketplace? How do you score when the goalpost is constantly shifting? And how do you make a difference in the present when the future is so uncertain? Innovation in itself can be the one answer to all these questions. But what could be more important than innovation? Applied innovation. Innovation without ironclad application is a drain on time and resources. Innovation brilliantly applied is gold. The Applied Innovation Exchange, AIE, India, is Capgemini India's platform designed to enable enterprises to discover relevant practical solutions and experiment with them within their specific industry. At AIE, this is achieved by continually exploring and experimenting with new ideas and territories, increasing your business agility, and leveraging the power of digital technologies. The power of the AIE India comes from our curated innovation ecosystem, which gives us access to the latest emerging technologies and thought leadership. The value is accelerated through a proven methodology to drive innovation from end to end. Our solutions are highly customized for our clients and presented in as-a-service model. We create a combination of specifically created physical environments, virtual collaboration tools, and hybrid approaches to foster co-working and collective thinking. Look at all these examples of applied innovation in action. Predictive maintenance using Vuzix AR glasses for real-time assistance for a German automobile giant, predicting equipment failure at least 2 business days before reducing unplanned downtimes. Bringing 3D technology to the supply chain for a furniture retailer in Nordics, dispatching goods in just 2 hours as compared to 2 business days before. 1,000 plus unique ideas generated through IDETHON for a Canadian bank.
Igniting an innovation vision of a connected car experience for an automotive giant. Account Innovation Lifecycle Management Platform, a mechanism for evaluating and prioritizing ideas, and a tool for solution planning. Card banking powered by a click-and-go immersive reality. Redefining cards and payment experience with robotics as a solution. At AIE, we also chart a sustainable pathway to success and future with the help of emerging technologies like
co-innovating with Agni and startups addressing societal needs such as women's safety and education. Project Farm, pilot with 500 plus farmers in India for increasing the crop yield and financial. Partnership with NSRSL, the startup hub of IIMB, to provide financial and mentorship support. Collaboration with IIT Madras to create robotic intervention for saw lines and septic tanks. So, is your organization involved in innovation? And what would it take for you to move to applied innovation that results in an accelerated jump of returns on time, resources, and most importantly on ideas? At the Capgemini Applied Innovation Exchange, we bridge business ideas with technological innovation and come up with innovation gold. Isn't it time you took a shine to it? Capgemini's Applied Innovation Exchange. Scaling ideas through applied innovation.
Thanks. Okay, so while we talked about the Applied Innovation Exchange, and I talked about it's a global platform, so we have around 20 plus exchanges globally, and if you see each exchanges has its own uniqueness, and what we do is through AI, we call it as a twinning mechanism. So what we do is through twinning mechanism, we engage with each applied innovation exchange, and that's how we built our innovation ecosystem, a large innovation ecosystem, I will say, and each and work towards better future for our consumer as well as customers. And the intent here is to innovate, move from a problem statement to a business outcome, and then enable clients to become proficient for applying innovation. And that's our overall theme is about driving end-to-end innovation excellence. And that's what we are focusing on, internal ecosystem building. Okay. Now moving to the next slide, maybe I will take another 2-3 minutes before I take few questions. So if you see, we have a Capgemini venture, COE, which focus on not only sectors that you see here, CPR, TMT, FS, sustainability. We are also looking at some of the technology also, to bring the best startups. And it is not about creating a number of startups in our CRM system. It is more focused one, which is backed by many industry leaders also. And a week back I was in discussion with T-Hub as well, a couple of I'll say clients, as well as we were looking at how we are engaging the startups in our customer journey as well. And we are also tied up with IIT Madras, and you must be hearing many more on IIT Dhanbad as well. And we are looking for also IMC for building that ecosystem from academia connect perspective. And it is not only academia acceleration or government agency, but we are also looking at some of the incubators also. And it is not at India level, it is at a global level. So in my next slide, if I say, the focus is, you can see on your left hand, topmost, I'm explaining the French embassy team, because we are looking at not only bringing the India startup to at a global level, but also bringing French startups to India customer as well. So I was explaining some of the technovision principles that applies to our customer, and how we should focus on from a technology perspective, as well as the implication for a business case also. So there are many showcase POC development that we do, and there are many innovation challenges that we participate. So Agni, one startup India initiative where we engage with them and mentor a couple of startups, and of course there is a sponsorship also. So this is more on how to bring the startup ecosystem in place. And it is not about, again, to create a number of startup in the list, but also implying their innovation to our customer and mentor them as well in a regular basis. So that's how the ecosystem is about. And I talked mostly more on the, if you see industry trends, technology trends, how the innovation is being embedded, and that's the future. Innovation needs to be embedded, otherwise there's no, or maybe I will say that you don't have any other choice without embedding this innovation in a regular day-to-day life. At the same time, focus on how to engage on the startups, and that's what eSale is about. And that's, with that note, I think thank you so much for listening to me, and I'll take some of the questions if you can share. So Joydeep, we have time, right? To take
yes, we do have time. And thank you so much for the amazing presentation. And this fits really well with our theme, which is celebrating innovations. And innovation is exactly what is happening at Capgemini, at your department. And like you said, fostering that spirit of entrepreneurship, helping startups to grow, and having some mentorship. So that's basically what we are trying to do here in IMC as well. Trying to build an ecosystem where startups can grow and in the right direction as well. So we would definitely, love to collaborate on that as well to an extent. And so now we can take a few questions. So there was already one question in the chat by Kalpana. So Kalpana asked that in line with how there is a search for new revenue models in the finance space, Could you elaborate on the process of innovating a new business model? Does the process start with identifying weakness and strengths in the current business model? If yes, what are the metrics of going about it?
Okay, so this is something which I will say, she's talking about SWOT analysis, design thinking principle. I'm not getting into that,
Right.
but I will say that in general, last time, La Innovator program, we ran with Capgemini with many more IM, I'll say graduates. And what I see is when we are looking at SWOT analysis, it's not about SWOT analysis or looking at the strength or weakness. We need to see first the environment or ecosystem there where you are building, because this is one of the, I think IMC team has specified that 5G can be deployed in a government agency or police agency because there is a need, but we need to understand that ecosystem is something which we need to do it or not, because there are large programs. I think couple of programs we have failed to do it in a government or police team as well. It's been 3 years program that we ran, and some point of time we just killed it. It is not about weakness, it is not about strength, it is basically on the embracement of particular business model. Okay, so and how speed we can take it ahead. Yeah, and when we say that speed, it should be speed to the market, because the market is disrupting and evolving on a day-to-day basis. And if you lose that 1 or 2 years, you cannot able to scale it. Okay, so that is one. But just to start, we need to look at from a not strength weakness, but what is the objective of specific innovation that we are bringing in on putting it into a ecosystem. So first one, I will say that you need to judge the ecosystem where you are putting it, how to scale it. Second thing is, I will say that what is the objective of the innovation that you are bringing in. The third thing comes that what is the strength that we can look at, okay, or what are the challenges that you see, because once you address the challenge, it is easy to scale particular innovation or particular any agenda for a ecosystem.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Ranjan. And I'm glad you brought design thinking into the discussion, because having personally worked in design thinking and related domains. So what I wanted to ask was that in the B school ecosystem. So do you have any partnerships or any methods where you can help students or professionals actually implement the design thinking process and come up with these new set of solutions or innovative solutions?
Yeah, of course. So we have a separate COE, to orchestrate this design thinking principles. And also in our team, I'll say a couple of IMC team is already there, in my group as well. They and I think they're equally excited like me when I was part of this program. So they're also well versed, and there's a separate training program that we do in terms of building this design thinking principles in shape. And it has to be, it is not something, there are 28 odd design thinking principle is there, affinity mapping, smart canvas. It's not to be, it needs to be customized in such a way that your objective can be addressed. And sometimes we do mix and match principles to build that discover phase that you see, discover device, discover area. We do more on design thinking principles with our customers as well.
Right. That's great. Audiences, if you have any other questions, you can send it on the chat. So we have another question that for business model innovation, the first step needs to be reevaluating your current business model. How do you innovate in this?
Okay, so I will take one of the examples, largely what we face in our team also. Okay, so when we say that, particularly when it comes to innovation, we always say that what we think innovation. Okay, we don't look at what the end consumer called it as an innovation. Okay, might be we are talking about drones, we are talking about AML aspects, but we need to look at what is applicability of innovation for particular industry. Okay, so as an example, the innovation which applies to a developing country is different than the development country as well, right? So that is something which you need to see when we evaluate a business model, saying that what is the impact that you are bringing in for particular business model, and you need to gauge the maturity of particular industry also, saying that what kind of business model that you can arrive at. Okay, so definitely the ecosystem we need to evaluate and see or gauge, I will say, the innovation maturity of any organization before applying the innovation to it. And you need to have a roadmap, you need to have a pipeline to bring that innovation on a continuous basis. Innovation is something which happens, it falls down, which happens again, and it's how it is. But in order to scale, you need to have a continuous innovation, and embed that innovation, particular innovation, on a regular basis. That's how it is.
Right. Thank you so much, Ranjan. And we have time for one more question if anyone has a question. Yeah, do feel free to put it in the chat. Right. So I guess there are no more questions. So thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Ranjan, for sharing the valuable information and being here. So we really appreciate your time, and I believe that everyone who has listened to this was a great learning experience for them as well.
Thank you so much, Jaideep, for inviting me. Thank you, and have a good day also. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjan. And I just wanted to assure you that the session has been recorded and would be shared with all the students on campus as well.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.